So we've been using the Makerbot Replicator 2 for a couple of months now, and the Kapton tape and ceramic came off of the extruder, and so we are going to replace that today and go over how that's done. We emailed Makerbot and they actually sent us a new piece of Kapton tape. The holes are all pre-cut. For the tools, we'll use a normal pair of scissors, a 2.5mm hex wrench, and a normal Phillips screwdriver. The first thing we're going to do is remove the filament and the guide tube, and that will give us a little bit better access to the nozzle so we can remove the old Kapton tape and replace it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go down to the menu and we will select Utilities and then Change Filament and Unload. It will take just a minute for the printer to heat up, and then we can unload the filament. The LCD screen on the Makerbot will actually guide us through this process. Once the Makerbot is heated, go ahead and remove the guide tube and then just gently pull up on the filament and it should come right out. Once that's done, you can press the M to exit the process. Before we get started, we'll actually turn off the Makerbot and also unplug the printer. It's always a good idea whenever you're working on your printer to do this. The first step is we're going to remove the Phillips screws that hold the active cooling duct on the side of the extruder. You can see there are two of them on the top left and on the bottom right, so we'll remove both of those. Once the active cooling duct is removed, we'll just let it hang by the wires here. The reason why we take the active cooling duct off is it'll actually allow us access to the bolts on the bottom of the extruder, so we can remove the extruder from the gantry. Before you get started and as you work around the extruder, make sure that it's not hot so it doesn't burn you. You can see there are two bolts, one on the right side of the extruder and one on the left, and we will take both of those out, and so we can lift the extruder right off of the gantry at that point. And we'll use the 2.5mm hex wrench to remove the two bolts. And now we'll just take the entire extruder assembly and lift it up off the gantry and sit it up on its side. And you can look and make sure there's no more Kapton tape or insulation stuck up around the nozzle that you need to remove before putting the new Kapton tape on. So this is the Kapton tape and insulation that Makerbot sent. You can see it's pre-cut with the two holes and also the slit here. And we'll be able to use this to wrap right around the nozzle. We'll take the Kapton tape, and you can see the one side with the hole will actually fit around the thermal barrier, and then we'll take it and we'll wrap it around here, and you can see the bottom hole fits over top of the nozzle, but notice there is a set screw next to the hole, and so I'm going to push, and there isn't a hole for that set screw, so I'll just push hard on the Kapton tape to mark the position of that set screw so I can cut it out, and that will allow the set screw to come through the Kapton tape and the insulation. So you can see now I've cut the hole for the set screw, and we'll now put it back around the thermal core, and it should fit well. So we'll remove the backing from the Kapton tape and then wrap it all the way around the thermal core, and it should fit well, and the Kapton tape should reach all the way around and be able to stick on the other side. So now that we have the new Kapton tape and insulation on, we'll tip the extruder back on and sit it down in the gantry, and then we'll be able to put the bolts back through the bottom using our 2.5mm hex wrench. It's just a little bit tricky to get the bolts lined up, but once they are lined up, they go in easy. So now we'll put the active cooling duct back on. Line up the bolt holes, and as you do so, make sure you tuck the wires in so everything fits inside there nicely, and we will use the Phillips screwdriver to replace the bolts. So from here, everything's put back together. You can reload your filament as you normally would. Thanks for watching. We hope this helps. For more information on 3D printing, you can like us on Facebook or subscribe to our YouTube channel.